Seguridad por el secretario general. Doy ahora la palabra a la señora Izumi Nakamitsu.
Thank you, Madam President. Distinguished members of the Security Council, thank you for the opportunity to brief the Council once again on the implementation of Security Council Resolution 2118 on the elimination of the chemical weapons program of the Syrian Arab Republic. Since the last consideration of this matter by the Council, and consistent with established practice, the Office for Disarmament Affairs has been in regular contact with counterparts in the OPCW Technical Secretariat on activities related to Resolution 2118. In addition, regular contact with the mission of the Syrian Arab Republic to the United Nations has continued, and I held a meeting most recently on 22nd of May 2026 with His Excellency Ambassador Olabi. Madam President, since the Council's last meeting on this matter, the OPCW and the Syrian Arab Republic have continued to engage on how to eliminate any remnants of the chemical weapons program developed by the previous government. As previously reported, since 2014, the OPCW Technical Secretariat has not been able to confirm that the declaration submitted by the previous government was accurate and complete because of the insufficient and inaccurate information it contained. The OPCW Technical Secretariat reported serious concern over the declaration's issues as it involved large quantities of potentially undeclared or unverified chemical warfare agents and chemical munitions. The current government of Syria has been working with the OPCW Technical Secretariat to obtain clarifications on the full extent and scope of the program developed by the previous government and ensure Syria's long-term compliance with the Chemical Weapons Convention, CWC. Madam President, given the significant and long-standing challenges to overcome in these efforts, I welcome the continued cooperation on this important work, and I am pleased to report that significant progress has been made since the Council's last meeting. In this month's report, OPCW Technical Secretariat shares that following an improvement in the regional security situation that permitted a safe and secure resumption of operations, the OPCW Technical Secretariat recommenced its deployments to the Syrian Arab Republic in coordination with the Syrian National Authority. At the beginning of May 2026, a team from the OPCW Office of Special Missions, OSM, deployed to the Syrian Arab Republic to advance efforts to establish a complete and accurate inventory of the remnants of the chemical weapons program deployed by the previous Syrian government. This deployment focused on several high-priority, undeclared sites in the northern coastal and central areas of the country, broadly within the geographic triangle encompassing Hama, Homs, and Latakia. Visits to these sites were conducted in full coordination with the Syrian National Authority and with substantial support from the relevant ministries of the Syrian government. Although the deployment was ongoing as of the cutoff date of the latest monthly report, the OPCW Technical Secretariat was already able to state that a significant amount of undeclared chemical weapons, related materials, and documentation were discovered at the sites. The findings include dozens of chemical munitions previously undeclared to the OPCW including the same type of aerial bombs and were used in the chemical attacks in Latamia in March 2017 and Khan Shakun in April 2017. Rockets were also found of the same type as those that were used in the chemical weapons attack in Ghouta in April 2013. The OPCW further reports that findings include quantities of separately stored chemicals and related equipment, which is currently being analyzed, and thousands of pages of documentation. Madam President, these findings are a momentous discovery, not just for Syria, but for international security and the global disarmament regime. This significant step was made possible due to the tireless efforts made by the officials from the OPCW Technical Secretariat for more than a decade to uncover the full scope of Syria's chemical weapons program and to eliminate it in line with the CWC, the continued advocacy by members of this Council for cooperation to resolve outstanding issues, and for accountability for those that dare to use such weapons, and of course, the urgency with which the current Syrian government acted to ensure Syria's compliance with the CWC, and the courageous work of the Syrian teams on the ground to facilitate activities needed to complete these tasks. In order to reach this stage, extensive cooperation was required from all stakeholders. The OPCW Technical Secretariat has further emphasized the importance of effective support from the current Syrian government. The OPCW reports that for this most recent deployment, approximately 200 personnel from relevant Syrian ministries contributed to facilitating this mission, including representatives from the newly re-established Syrian National Authority, Ministry of Emergency and Disaster Management, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, Diplomatic Security Services, Intelligence Services, and medical teams, as well as chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear (CBRN), explosive ordnance disposal, and demining specialists. This cooperation will remain critical going forward, as the newly discovered elements now need to be declared and destroyed under the OPCW Technical Secretariat's verification. In addition, further investigations and deployments to additional sites will be required in order to discern the full scope of the chemical weapons program developed by the previous government. Given the risks posed by any remaining elements of the chemical weapons program, these steps must be completed with urgency. Madam President, as previously reported, since March 2025, more than 20 locations have been visited. The OPCW has also conducted interviews with former chemical weapons experts, collected 19 samples, and over 6,000 documents from the visited locations. The Syrian government handed over 34 sealed cardboard boxes containing documents to the OPCW Technical Secretariat, which have been scanned and returned to the Syrian National Authority. The electronic copies will be analyzed by the OPCW Technical Secretariat. Based on the information gathered through the OPCW's deployments in 2025 and 2026, at least 4 locations visited by the OPCW could be declarable under the CWC. The OPCW is planning further activities to determine the full scope of chemical weapons-related activities conducted at these facilities and their subsequent declarability. Madam President, the OPCW Director General has emphasized that if chemical weapons or related components are discovered during site visits, these sites must be secured, and the chemical weapons-related components must be relocated to a protected storage facility pending their eventual destruction under the OPCW Technical Secretariat's verification. I understand that the latest weapons found in May 2026 have been transferred to a secure location, and consultations on destruction plans are ongoing between the Syrian government and the OPCW Technical Secretariat. This is a crucial step to undertake in line with Resolution 2118 and decisions by the OPCW Executive Council, and will require the support from the international community. Madam President, distinguished members of the Security Council, as I have previously emphasized, this is a critical opportunity for the disarmament and non-proliferation regime. I welcome the continued cooperation by the Syrian National Authority with the OPCW Technical Secretariat, which is essential to these efforts. Significant and consistent support from the international community is also needed to complete the extraordinary efforts to rid Syria of all chemical weapons. I once again urge the members of this Council to unite and show leadership in providing the support that this unprecedented effort requires. I also take this opportunity to reiterate the United Nations support for the integrity, professionalism, impartiality, objectivity, and independence of the work of the OPCW. The United Nations stands ready to support and will continue to do our part to uphold the norm against the use of chemical weapons anywhere at any time. I thank you very much for your attention.